Hey guys, Target here and welcome to another episode of Design and Manage, a City Skylines and Modded Let's Play series. In this video we are going to build the fishing industry. It's finally time for us to do that, and for that I needed to buy an additional tile. I decided to build the fishing industry on the shoreline of the river on the right side of the city, in the outskirts. I have then placed a couple of seawalls to make the shoreline a bit cleaner, and I then proceeded to place all the fishing harbors. Then I moved on to reformulate the highway connection, and for that I needed to first and foremost reconstruct and rebuild the trumpet interchange that leads to the city. And then I moved on to plan out and place our cargo station, which is going to be a fundamental part of this type of industry, to facilitate exports. Then I needed to reformulate the entire highway connection and also all necessary accesses. I have opted out to make a big counterclockwise loop that leads the trucks from the fishing harbors to the fish factories, to the cargo station, and then to the fishing harbors again. And in this way we'll be able to maximize traffic flow within our possibilities. I then moved on to create the layout for the fish factories. For the time being I've simply placed 3 of them. We will be placing a lot more throughout the course of this episode, but for the time being, considering the amount of fish harbors that we have placed, 3 seem to be an adequate number of fish factories. If you notice, I've also added a bypass to the left side of the layout so that trucks who do not want to mess around in the fish factories and want to go directly to the cargo station, they can do so via this road. Likewise, this layout is designed so that trucks who want to go to the fish factories, they can freely move around inside the layout without interfering with the traffic in the main road, in the main highway loop. I then finished up the highway. I wanted to make something organic and not very grid looking. And speaking of grids, then I moved on to make the layout for a fishing village. So this zone is not only going to be the dedicated place for the fishing boats and also the fish factories, but also to the fishermen themselves. So I decided to do a small residential space in the available geographic area that we had. When I was building this particular layout, I was thinking of a old town layout or a old town design, so it's much less greedy and much less planned and much more natural looking. I think it will look well. Then I moved on to the other side of the river, to this little island that we have on this part of the map. I'm still not sure what we will build here, but for the time being I just placed a couple of fish farms to complement the fishing harbors and the fishing industry itself. But later on perhaps we can place the disaster response unit, for example, or even make another residential block and kinda create an island village. Unfortunately, according to what I have envisioned for the city, I am not going to expand the city to the right side, so I'm not going to buy the other tiles of this island. Which is a pity, because this island has a lot of potential, there's a lot of interesting stuff that you can build around here, and it also has access to the only ship connection of the map. We won't be able to use it, but I need other tiles to make additional highway connections and also to build other stuff. Finally, I then built all the fishing routes for every single one of the fishing harbors that we had. We will be optimizing these lines later on, so I'm not really worried about efficiency right now or even aesthetics. This is just something to get the industry going in its initial stages. Then I just proceeded to zone everything with residential and also some commercial in the middle, and then I have resumed the simulation to let everything run and develop. And that's pretty much what I've done to start my fishing industry, and now we are going to optimize it and make it very profitable. Stick around to find out how. Alright guys, so we have just finished the basic structure of the fishing village. I think it's working very well, at least for the time being. So let's just check out how it's performing financially. So it seems that we are incurring in a profit of about 600, which is not bad for a newly built industry type. Like most industry specializations, the profit that you make entirely depends on the imports and exports that you are making at the current time. So it may vary quite drastically from one second to another. However, there are quite a few things that we can do to optimize this industry type. The first thing that I want to do is actually take a look at how these fishing harbors are performing. When I've started this thing, I've placed the fishing harbor because it was the only one that we had available, which allows you to catch every single type of fish. So for example, this one over here has a line that goes through different schools, and it doesn't really matter because it will always be catching fish no matter where it goes. However, these boats are not the most efficient because they have a very low capacity for carrying fish, so they fill up very quickly. And also they only have 6 freight trucks, where the other specialized harbors have 10 trucks. So these specialized harbors are the ones that you want to be using in the long term, which is exactly what we want to do. I have let the game run for a while, and we have unlocked these 2 harbors. The one that we will be using is actually the Salmon fishing harbor because, as you can see here, this river is mainly composed of salmon schools and also tuna schools. We have already unlocked the salmon fishing harbor, and for the tuna fishing harbor we actually need to catch a total of 2 million fish, which is going to take us quite a while. But anyway, now that we have unlocked this thing, I think we can replace some of the harbors that we have here with this new specialized harbor. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do now. I am going to delete, I don't know, perhaps this one in the corner. And now I'm going to place my salmon fishing harbor, and I'm gonna place it right here. Okay, and now let's connect it with the existing fishing route. Like this. Okay, perfect. Now the next thing that I wanna do is actually check out the efficiency of the line itself. If the lines are too short, boats will return to the fishing harbor not completely full, which is quite inefficient, and if the line is too long, boats will fill up halfway through the line and they will spend too much time returning to the harbor, which again is not the most efficient way. So if you want to maximize the efficiency of your lines, like me, you should pay attention to the length of the line. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. I am going to select the fishing boat over here, and I'm actually going to see when it reaches 100% of its capacity, which is this little bar over here. Okay, so as you've seen, boats are reaching 100% capacity at about this junction over here. Now they have to go through this entire segment of line to reach the harbor, which indicates that we can make this line a bit shorter. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pause the simulation again, and I'm gonna delete this entire segment. And I'm gonna end the curve at about here. Okay, let's see now. So let's check this boat. This one is at 53%. Okay, so now they are reaching 100% of their capacity at about this junction, so we could even make this line a little bit shorter. So let's try to optimize it a bit further. And there we go. This is almost perfect, so I think we're gonna keep this line. And if you click on the harbor itself, you can see that the route efficiency is actually 100%. So the faster your fishing boats can fill up and return to the harbor, the more fish you are going to export and the more money you are going to make. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to replace all of these fishing harbors with salmon fish harbors, and I'm gonna optimize the lines for the maximum efficiency, and I'll meet you guys in a second. Also, for this fishing industry, I'm only going to be using salmon and also tuna, because those are the ones that are the closest to the fishing village itself. I could make other specialized harbors that would reach all the way over here and catch some shellfish and also anchovy, but they would just spend a lot of time traveling through this canal all the way over here, and that would not be efficient. Also, as far as I know, there is no benefit of catching different types of fish, and the game treats all the fish exactly the same. So it really doesn't matter. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to optimize these lines and I'll meet you guys in a second. Okay guys, so I've just optimized these 4 harbors to the right. They are now all 100% efficient and with the shortest route possible, or pretty close to it. This harbor over here to the left is actually an example of a very inefficient one, so it has an efficiency of 46%, and besides having a short route, it actually has a lot of instances where it is cruising or simply not catching fish, as you can see here in the green letters, because it is going through other types of schools rather than the specialization, which is the salmon, the pink one. So what I think I want to do, instead of making a crazy long line over here trying to avoid these blue spots, I think I'm actually going to delete this thing and delete the entire line and put one of our farms there instead. Perhaps I should even... no, you know what, let's replace one or relocate it right about over here to this point and connect it back. Now we can simply build the salmon fishing harbor over here, so we can actually delete this little segment of road for it to work. So let's place it here. And now we have this entire part of the river that we can work with to make an efficient line for this harbor. One of the downsides of having the harbor over here is that now the trucks will take a long time to get from the harbor itself to the cargo station to export the fish, and also to the fish factories to produce commercial goods. But because we're already using this entire coastline, we pretty much have no choice. So let's just provide a fishing route and move on to other parts of the industry. Okay guys, so another thing that I want to address is actually the cargo station itself. This station has the same problem that we had on our other industrial district. So as you can see, both trajectory of trucks getting into the station and out of the station are intersecting each other, which is causing quite a delay in traffic flow. This is because the way this station works is that trucks getting into the station do so from the left side, and trucks getting out of the station do so from the right side. So because we have a one-directional road coming from right to left, this issue is happening. The direction of the road should actually be from left to right and not the way we have it right now. So this is something that we can easily fix with a couple of adjustments. So let's work on that. So because we already have an entire loop coming from right to left in this direction, I don't want to remodel this entire thing. So what we can do is actually make a few adjustments and make a road here. And we can also try and make a segment here and connect it like this. And this way we are actually making a bypass, so trucks who do not want to interfere with the station itself can do so without going through it. Okay, so what we've done here was just a simple bypass. So trucks who do not want to mess with the station itself or are just passing by, they can do so by just keep moving forward. And trucks who want to get into the station can do so by simply take a left here at this junction. And also trucks who want to get out will be able to do so from the right side without interfering with the traffic coming into the station itself, coming from the left side. So let's actually convert this to a highway to make the traffic here flow a bit faster. Now we can simply resume the simulation and see how this will work, and hopefully this will work a bit better. Okay, so now this is working much better. We just have a few issues here. I noticed in the intersection sometimes trucks in the highway have to wait for trucks getting in, so perhaps we can make each of these segments go into their dedicated lanes of this segment up ahead, and perhaps we can do so by simply converting this into a one-lane road, and the same for this one. Let's see how it works. No, not really. Let's try to remodel this a bit further. Okay, so now we have each segment go into its separate lane, and now things should flow much better than before. Yep, there we go. Merging on this section over here is flawless because each of the segments go into their separate lanes. The same thing happening over here and also at the entrance of the cargo station itself, because trucks coming in do not interfere with trucks coming out. They can do so without stopping. The only issue is at the merging at the middle of the segment, which could be solved with a slightly complex layout, but for the time being and for the amount of traffic that we have, this is working adequately. So let's keep it as it is. And there we go, we have finally unlocked the tuna fishing harbor, so we can now replace these two buildings here. So that's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to demolish these old-fashioned and inefficient fishing harbors, and we are going to put the specialized tuna fishing harbor. So one here and another one there. And now we can simply remodel all of these lines. One cool thing about this industry type is that I can extend the fishing lines to tiles that I currently do not own. So for example, over here you can see the line separating the terrain that I have and the terrain that I do not have, and I can freely build some fishing routes in the terrain that I do not own. Okay, since we are at it, I also want to replace this fish farm. Fish farms work similarly to the harbors that are farms more efficient than others. The fish farm is actually the most basic one. The algae and later on the seaweed farms are actually much more efficient. So I think I'm going to replace this little farm here with an algae farm. Okay, and I think I want to do the same in this location as well. Another thing that I want to do is also add some more fish farms. We have a lot of harbors working at full capacity, so we should add a few more ways of converting the raw fish into finalized goods. So let's grab the small industry road and let's start making an additional layout over here. So let's place one here, another one here, another one here, and perhaps that will be enough for now. I just want to make this a bit more natural looking, so I'm gonna be lining all these factories just so it looks a bit better. And let's add just another one over here just for symmetry. As long as we don't have those blue icons, such as this one for example here, that indicate that there's not enough fish, there won't be the issue of having too many fish factories. Alright, now that we have made all of these adjustments to our fishing industry, let's take a look at its performance again. And look at how things have changed. We are now making a profit of about 6,000, which is super insane. But anyway, there's also some other thing that we are still missing. You know, no fishing village can be complete without a fish market. And that's exactly what I want to do here. I will want to provide this village with a place where people can come and buy their own fish from the local fishermen. That's exactly what I want to do right now. I want to make this farm, which is this asset over here, as close to our fishing harbors as possible, and also to our farms. So I think I want to make it alongside this road, and for that we'll need to make a few adjustments. So let me delete this little road here. We should also delete this road as well, and we can bring it to this side perhaps. Let's see if that is long enough. No, we need to add it. Oh wait, yes it is. It is actually the perfect fit, so let's place our fish market over there, and we can now rebuild the things that we have destroyed. I am going to make a diagonal road over here, This is kind of a old town design, so to say, and it's supposed to follow a less greedy and a much more organic and less planned layout. Perhaps we should also reconsider the zoning, because this thing creates a lot of noise. So let's actually take out the houses from this block and let's place them in this block instead, because this is a much quieter location. So a bit more commercial here, and perhaps we should start placing a few houses here as well. Okay, now let's unpause the simulation and see how it behaves. But anyway guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video and I hope to see you again in the next one. Have a good one, happy fishing, and as always, have fun!